All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another week of Platinum Chatting with Runners on Facebook. So this week we have the women of New Balance Boston with us. So we have, and I'm looking at it from my order, so I'll have you guys wave when I say your names, but we have Leanne Farber, and then Heather McLean, Katrina Coogan, and Shifra Claire Butner. Did I totally butcher it, Shifra?
No, that was pretty good.
All right, not bad. I'll take it. All right, so I'll intro them a little bit and just give you guys a little bit of a rundown of just their races and things, and then we'll get into how they're doing with their strength training and everything while we're out on quarantine. So we'll start with Leanne. So Leanne's grew up in Northport, New York, so relatively local, went to UNC Chapel Hill, graduated in 2015. She was a 3-time All-American there. Joined NorCal Distance Project for 2 years after graduation before making her way to New Balance Boston. And since then, her personal bests in the 800 meters are 2:03, 4:11 in the 1500, and then in the mile 4:28. Moving on to Heather, she grew up in Peabody, Massachusetts, so super local. Ran for UMass Amherst. Did you graduate in 2016 or 17?
2017
and 2019. I always get thrown off when there's red shirts.
Oh, yeah.
When did you graduate? I don't know. So she was you were an All-American in cross country, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, All-American in cross country in college. 7th at USA Outdoors this past summer in the 1500 in 2019. Her personal best 800 meters 2:01, 1500 meters 4:05, mile 4:25, and 3K 9:03. So a lot of that mid-distance speed around in this group. Katrina's next up. So she went to Georgetown, graduated in 2015. NCAA DMR and cross country champion. So in 2011 and then in 2015.
2015. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that fuzzy change in season there. Was an All-American 11 times while at Georgetown. Had a Penn Relays championship. Bird, how many while you were there?
Only one, unfortunately.
Only the one.
She gonna pull me up on that one, but
her PR is 4:11 in the 1500 and then 15:14 in the 5K this past year. And then Shifra grew up in Dublin, Ireland. You couldn't tell by the name. Graduated in 2018 from Villanova. Hence these two. I don't know how they're able to function sitting on the couch next to each other.
Not really like each other.
Plus, I'm proud of you guys. That's pretty good.
Step us being able to sit here.
She likes to pretend she doesn't love me.
So while at Villanova, she was a 5-time All-American, 10-time Big East champ, and an 8-time Penn Relays champion. Was a indoor 800 meter NCAA runner-up in 2018. So that was in the 800. Her PRs are 2:01, 4:10 for the 1500, and then for the mile 4:33. So, and she just joined. She's the most recent one to join New Balance Boston in 2019. But she has some Irish indoor. You're of the Irish indoor record for the 800, correct?
Yeah.
Sweet. So we're a pretty solid crew of people here. Obviously, some super fast runners, but also super motivated group. So I guess first question, just get things rolling. So with everything that's been going on and obviously the Olympics being delayed and everything, how has you guys' training changed in the past few weeks?
Well, we haven't been able to train together, me and Heather have been training together, Katrina and Shifra are together, so we're really lucky in that regard, but as a whole group, we haven't been able to run together, so that is something that's very different for us. That's probably the biggest challenge right now, not being able to meet as a team because we met 5 to 6 times a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you guys, you all live super close in Boston, right? So it's kind of a daily thing.
Leanne are roommates, so it works out pretty well.
Right.
Yeah,
not a bad deal. How about just training itself? Are you guys still kind of on a pretty regular plan, or are things kind of adjusting?
Yeah, I feel like we're on a pretty regular plan, except for right now, typically we'd be getting ready for track races. And since there's no races on the schedule, we're kind of treating it like we would the fall, just doing a lot of mileage and base work, a lot of like fartleks and tempos and hill workouts, staying off the track, all like effort-based stuff during this time to make sure like we're not running too hard without being able to get the like body care that we need. While also like still taking advantage of this time with no races to build like an aerobic base. So
cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess, we all have to adjust a little bit, but it's good you guys are able to at least have like one of your teammates around and then, just get some miles in while you can, right?
mm-hmm.
So how about for you guys, since again, you guys are so used to being together all the time, how have you guys been kind of staying close as a team, even though you're kind of paired off? And then they also run with Ellie Purrier too, so that's their fifth teammate. But she's up in Vermont with their fiance.
Yeah. We're doing some group FaceTimes, and just kind of chatting in with each other and happy hours.
Mm-hmm.
We did one last night, so we just have been calling each other, and then I think last night Leanne and Katrina were playing Switch.
We're playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Each other.
You can still get your racing fix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's been kind of weird because we haven't seen each other, like as Leanne said, in so long as a group. So we've just kind of been still talking most days, or at least every few days.
Mm-hmm. We have a group text that's pretty constantly being written into.
Oh, that's good. It's so important.
Yeah.
So main reason why the girls are on tonight is to talk about their experience with strength training and running. So, we talked last week a lot about kind of how to stay injury free while you're training. This is a really, in our mind at Platinum Physical Therapy, a really important part of staying injury free and staying healthy is incorporating some degree of resistance training into your running training, both for that injury prevention, but also to help achieve your goals. And this can go to any of you guys. So how do you feel like strength training has changed your running? Like, do you notice a difference since adding it? And just in general, like what your experience was with strength training prior to starting with the Platinum Strength program?
I've been strength training since my freshman year of college, and I honestly think it makes a huge difference in running. There was like a brief period of time where I didn't strength train after college when I first joined the team. And I noticed a difference in my running just as far as recovery goes. Like, obviously strength training can be really hard, and when you're really tired, it's hard to like get yourself motivated to do it. But when you do it, I think it makes a big difference as far as how you feel the next few days, and like as you progress and do it more and more often, how you feel overall, and like how fast twitch your muscles are. But I also have noticed that it's really great for injury prevention. And I definitely find that the more I'm being consistent with strength training and making sure that I'm doing everything correctly, the less injuries I come across.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I didn't have like a big background in strength training. And that's something that, I mean, we did it in college, but post-collegiately, we just didn't really have structure there. And so this year was like the first year that we really had something super structured in terms of strength training. And one of the biggest things that I noticed was even during like the longer workouts, like the 5K, more specific workouts, I would just get less fatigued. Like I would be able to handle the workouts better without feeling as like wrecked or toasted from them afterwards. I would like recover almost faster, I felt like, and be able to like hit a good session like later in the week, where before I just kind of like the fatigue would just like last longer. And I think a lot of that had to do with the strength training, because it just made me stronger like in your core and more efficient, I feel like. So it helped me be able to handle like higher volume workouts better, if that makes sense. It actually like helped running. You could actually run more while doing strength, where I feel like that's a fear of some people, that it will get in the way of being able to like do the running part, but it helped me do the running part more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, and I also think, just to kind of add on to what Heather and Katrina were saying, that it's a good way to practice kind of dealing with your fatigue, because a lot of times we do our lifts, it's after we work out and we're kind of our muscles are sore or tired, and it's a good practice for the end of a race when you're kind of tired and hitting a wall, but you got to kind of simulate that in your training so that you can practice and then deal with it when it comes in the race, and you know what to expect. And I think that's a good way of kind of mentally and physically dealing with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can imagine for you guys, if you're doing like a whole weekend of competitions or something, it's like, you know, that just, especially with you guys' distances, like I was done in under 10 seconds, you know, like I like, you know, for the 60 meters. So you can do a few of those in a meet and not be too beat up, but, you know, you guys need to be able to bounce back for some, you know, trials, semis, finals potentially. So having that strength's got to be huge.
Definitely.
And then one I was thinking, I thought of another question while we were chatting here, but like when you first started with lifting, was there something about it that felt like super challenging? Was like balance really hard or just form really hard? Like what was the thing that you felt like individually was like the most challenging part about like kind of first starting strength training?
I feel like completely correct. Has been really challenging for me, especially since I find like squatting in particular, for some reason my hips are just like not normal. I've noticed during my evaluations, but I just like now I put like I put a little platform under my heels because I just like it's taken me a long time to like get the form down to like so I'm doing it the correct way.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. How about any of you other guys? Anything felt super hard at first, or everything felt really hard at first?
Yeah, I feel like everything felt really hard at first. I just like Leanne said, the form. I think that was like one of the things that I had to focus on the most, was making sure that I was doing it correctly before I like did more weight, or I wasn't like cheating in different aspects. I also feel like one thing is like mobility, like realizing that like if you get more like flexible or mobile, that you don't actually have strength in that area, which was kind of like interesting. There's like
Right.
what I felt like, which I didn't even really realize. But
yeah, and we're lucky that we all kind of lift at the same time, so we can kind of give each other cues or corrections if we're doing something slightly off, or it's kind of nice that we can keep an eye on each other. And
we send videos to Julianne if we have any.
That's like my favorite part of my day. Like, oh, they're lifting. So then rolling off of that, so when you guys first started, and we kind of kept with it a little bit, but we went on kind of like an effort-based kind of scaled, just to get you kind of into a rhythm with it and help figure out kind of what your ability was going to be in the gym, because it's so hard. And I think that's what we hear from so many people when they're first starting a weightlifting routine of anything. It's like, well, how much do I lift? Do I lift a lot? Do I lift a little? And especially where you guys were maybe coming off of workouts that, like as they were building up in intensity, potentially having you just have a standardized weight would be, potentially not work. Did that scale kind of make sense and help with feeling a little bit more comfortable in the weight room?
I would say, yeah, definitely having that was really helpful to transition and get into a good routine in the weight room, and making sure that we have all like the proper motions down to go about doing the heavier and more intense lifting that we want to work towards in the future. So yeah, I found it definitely really, really helpful.
Yeah, I felt like certain workouts obviously are harder than others for us. And so some days since we go typically straight from like our hard workouts, some days I would be way more tired even just like going into the weight room than I would on another day. So like a lighter weight might actually feel harder than a heavier weight on different days. So the ability to like just adjust based on effort was super helpful, instead of like just trying to force something that just wasn't going to happen because we were tired.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, again, you got to keep that form together. So you can make that adjustment. We do have a question that rolled in. So the question was, how do you all like to maintain good mental health with being elite athletes? Popularly, people use recreational running as an outlet. So when it's done professionally, how else do you balance that part of life? So a little bit of a tangent, but
I guess, yeah, an important thing, I mean, based off that, is just don't make your entire identity like being a runner, because it can be taken away from you in a second. And I think we've all dealt with pretty serious injuries, and that like if all you think that you are is a runner and you can't do it, like that is really hard to deal with. So I think we all do a pretty good job of having interests outside of the sport. And I mean, we could probably talk about like the things
I'm big into crocheting right
If you follow Heather on Instagram, you'll see her crochet art.
now. So it's good to have like something you're passionate about outside of running, because I think the cool thing for us and like what we get to tell people is we turned something that started out as just like a passion. You know, we really enjoyed high school track or like whatever else, and now we get to do it as our full-time job, which obviously I hope that everybody's really passionate about their full-time job, but like obviously we're extra passionate about our full-time job, and that's where it comes in, where Leanne was saying it can kind of encompass your whole identity. So obviously this is something we're really passionate about, and of course we're like all really good friends, so like most of what we talk about is running, but we definitely do a good job of like making sure that we're doing other things that are supporting our mental health and making sure that we're talking about something that's outside of like what we do in our 9 to 5. So
Yeah, I think the special thing about like that, kind of going off of what Heather said, is about our group is we're all like, we do things together outside of just practice as well. It's not like we only see each other at practice. So I think that's kind of a nice way for us to, as Leanne said, kind of see that we're all athletes, but we're also all like individuals and like people as well. So
and running is definitely still an outlet for us. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It is our profession. It's like an outlet for like other life stresses for us, you know, because we're people, we have other stresses too. But I think we all just like keep it fun too. Like obviously there's times where it's like very high pressure and high stress, like when we have a big beat where like your performance really matters. But like a lot of the time, like it's just fun. Like we're with our friends every day and we just like work really hard, but we have a good time doing it. And so we like try and like practice should be like the most fun part of our day, not like something that we're dreading or just feels like a job to us. And so we really try and like keep it that way, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Mark tries to make sure that we're all like enjoying it and having fun, because of, like at the end of the day, it's like that's what it's supposed to be.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, you got to keep the love for the running into it. It's got to be like hugely important.
yeah, absolutely.
So I guess going into like, you know, kind of not fully wrapping things up, but getting into kind of the last like less like clinical stuff. Do you guys have like a favorite lift that you do in the gym?
Like a favorite, like
exercise, like a certain exercise.
Favorite exercise, yeah, in the gym.
I like the deadlifts, like the hex bar deadlifts. I know that's Martina's favorite.
Yeah, she's laughing. Yeah, the thing and like
deadlifts.
If there's one exercise they do in every cycle, it's hex bar deadlifts, because they all say the same thing.
Yeah, the deadlifts are. I feel like it's an instant gratification almost.
And like we like to hype each other up when you're stepping into the hex bar, and
like
we're
if
just
you're
like
hitting a new weight, like
and we look really bomb in the gym when we know where the hex bar is. We just like set it up and like push people aside that are in our way.
We can't pay attention to how much other people are lifting now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have one rule in the weight room: you need blinders. That's awesome, though.
Favorite,
group favorite are deadlifts for sure.
Now, you guys like the people who make all the sound effects with the deadlifts, or are you guys like you keep it together?
I'd say
we cheer for each other. Like I really enjoy the KC chant during the deadlift. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, we hype each other up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now, how about like going off that? Do you guys have a favorite core exercise, like something that anyone could do at home, or you guys have been doing during quarantine?
Oh my goodness.
You guys have been meeting every day. So
recently, I've been really enjoying the dead bug, but it's like a different variety of it. So you lay on your back, and instead of just like quickly going between your legs and your arms, you hold each one for 5 seconds, and you do that until you hit 50 seconds. And then you put both your arms and your legs down into like a body hold for 10 seconds. And it's really hard. And it just like makes the deadlift harder, but more fun. All right, sorry, the dead bug. I meant dead bug. I'm still stuck on dead bug. Dead bugs. Yeah.
I really like mountain climbers. They're just really fun. We
Super
did it,
slow or fast?
and we did it with a band for one of our lifts, like around our waist, and that was.
Oh yeah, that one was wicked hard. When I tried that one out for the first time, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna hate this or love this.
Yeah,
it was hard.
That's good.
um,
How about you, Leanne? You guys have anything?
I'm trying to think. Core is not my favorite part of training, but I've been doing a lot of yoga recently. So like planks, like straight arm planks or forearm planks. I feel like you can really notice like throughout the weeks how much stronger you get during that.
Yeah, that's another like good instant gratification one. I feel like, well, not instant, but like over time.
Yeah. And I think Shakira planks when you drop like your hips side to side are good too.
Shakira, what they're called.
Even better if you actually play Hips Don't Lie while it happens.
Yeah, yes, true.
It's fun.
All right, we had another question roll in. Do you do anything specific with your diet or nutrition? Guys.
Just make sure we're like fueled enough, honestly. Like
Yeah.
you want to be like, we train so much at times that we just like are, especially when we're altitude training, we're just like constantly eating because we got to make sure we have like that engine filled when we like, go out for our second workout of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's like, of course, that's like the biggest, that's like one of the biggest questions I get often, like from people asking about our profession and stuff is, oh, like, does that mean you have to diet or like eat a certain way? And I think the biggest answer you always hear is like everything in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like, I don't really even consider the moderation because like, I feel like I'm never, even when I am eating a lot, like I'm never eating enough to like completely fuel for like what we're doing every day, like on top of like core, PT, or like everything that we're adding on top of just our like daily running routine. So like it's never anything that like, the thing I really like about our group is like we're all like bragging about, you know, like, oh, like who's trying to finish the pint of Ben and Jerry's tonight, or like these like fun meal ideas in Flagstaff and stuff. And I think that's like really great. Like nobody's downing anybody for like having the extra cookie or whatever. You know, we're all like really supportive of our fueling. So
yeah.
And like you can
awesome.
fuel enough like for what we're doing. Like 80 miles a week is no joke, and you know, we deserve the Oreos at night.
Yeah, they're really good. So yeah, have Oreos.
Yeah, I think Heather put it really well, and it's a lot of fun for us as well when we're at altitude because we're able to cook together as like a group, and we can kind of just try out new recipes and stuff, which is a lot of fun.
To experience each other's culture, you know, like beer.
Yeah, our go.
Is there anybody who's like kind of the cook or not so much?
I guess we all kind of chip in. Ellie likes to cook for us like new things, but we all kind of just lend a hand here and there, so kind of just switch it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then last question I had was, did anybody pick up any like new quarantine skills? I know we already talked about Heather's crocheting.
I've been weaving, which is not the same as crocheting.
That's awesome.
Village. I have 4 villagers.
We've been playing Animal Crossing.
Just got an extension on my house. I'm in $500,000
I'm
of
in
debt.
like $1 million for the debt.
They're in a video game, if anybody missed that part.
We played Animal Crossing. Drop your phone below.
How about up in New Hampshire?
Oh yeah, I've been making bagels. That's like my new thing. I love making bagels.
So nice.
That's like what I've learned to do. And I've been baking a lot. That's been my main quarantine activity is baking.
And I'm the assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Someone has to taste test.
I egg paint the bagels before they go in the hot water.
Oh, there you go.
Before they go in the oven.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there's anybody else out on Facebook that has any questions, feel free to ask away. If you guys have any other like questions or comments, feel free to fire away.
What about you, Julianne? Any new skills?
Any new skills? I am trying to paint furniture. Like I painted a dresser and a nightstand over the weekend, and it came out awesome. I'm super excited.
In Animal Crossing, we call that customizing.
real life customizing.
I need to be a long table. It has a mask flag on it.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, this was awesome that you guys were able to join us tonight. This is super entertaining, like really useful information for sure. And I'm really happy that you guys have noticed like a difference with the strength. Like that's awesome. And then we'll just continue pushing along until 2021 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julianne, and thanks for the strength training. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. So I'll put a plug out for these guys. If you are on social media, find them on Instagram, Team New Balance Boston. And they have a giveaway.
So
they have a giveaway right now. Yeah. So if you tag a friend, you can get some stuff. So track them down. Follow them all, like all their running. I mean, again, you heard all their times. These girls are awesome. So keep an eye out for these guys for 2021. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye.